Well, joining me now is a British wrestling legend. I think we can call you that right now.
Legend! Legend! Legend, I'll go with that. But it's a bit much, mate, bit much.
The Rockstar Spud. Rockstar, the last time I spoke to you, you weren't the X Division champion. You hadn't fought in that fantastic fight with EC3 in London. Just talking about them highlights first of all, what was it like being the X Division champion?
Well, my baggage was a little bit heavier when I went to the airport, but no, it was extremely rewarding because obviously that was a goal. When you know, as I said many a time in the promos, it was a goal to be on the same list as all the TNA greats like Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian, and just you know, I'm on the list with those people. That says it all. Like you know, not many people get the opportunity that I have had, and especially to win the X Division Championship, not only for the first time, but in London, England, in the capital. And literally, I remember walking to the hotel afterwards, and people were treating me like a hero. It was awesome, like, you know, boyhood dream come true and everything like that. But it was just such a rewarding thing, and you know, that belt has so much prestige and so much history, and you know, it was one of those things that was such a draw for Impact Wrestling as well. You know, I'm a former two-time X Division champion. If I go down doing that, I'm always going to be a success. So, you know.
I was going to say, just how did you feel when you had the belt on you and defending the belt as well? You successfully defended it a few times. It must be a weird position because I know 5-6 years ago that must have been something you couldn't have dreamed of.
It looked like an unobtainable goal, but it was a goal that I kept dreaming about, you know, and like just like being signed by a professional company, I did it. Just like being, you know, noticed by a professional company, I did it. Just like winning the X Division Championship, I did it. And it's like I said to EC3, Kurt Angle, Austin Aries, if I'd have, you know, on that night on Destination X, I could have been the World Heavyweight Champion. Who's to say I'm not going to do it? You know, if it seems like if I dream it, I can do it. And here's the deal, man. I'm an underdog. I'm not going to win every time. But you know, you never know when that day is going to come because, like, every dog has his day, as they say. And you know, one day I'm going to be in the ring with, you know, Apollo Creed, and I'm going to be Rocky Balboa, and I'm going to get that shot, and I'm going to get up before 10, and I'm going to be the winner. So it's one day it could happen, and I'm going to work hard every day to make sure it does.
Just looking back at the fight you had with EC3, I mean, all the critics were praising of that. Just what was it like fighting in such a big fight in your home country?
We didn't want to go in there and give you a good match. Do you know what I mean? Like it seems what's wrong with the pro wrestling business these days is that everybody wants to go in there and have a, quote, great match, quote, 5-star wrestling match. To me, that doesn't draw money. The only people that know it's a great match are wrestling fans. But what got me with wrestling is the emotional connection. And what we had was the emotional connection between two characters that people cared about because they'd followed their journey from the moment they stepped in the company to this moment here, the biggest moment that the both of them have had so far in their TNA careers. One is an entitled bully and blames everyone but himself for what happened to his aunt, and he buries his best friend and makes him feel like garbage and treats him like garbage. The other is just a guy that just wanted an opportunity. He got it. Yes, it was by the means of helping the Carters, and he had to be an arse kisser and do anything for them. But every time he got beaten up, he kept coming back just to soothe their every needs. And then they're saying that it was his fault after his loyalty, after everything, after his friendship. And now he's in a position where he finally believes himself and he's standing up to the bullies. That's drama, man. And there he is, bleeding to death in the middle of the ring, and he's still fighting, and the people are egging him on, and he's bleeding, but he won't give up, and then finally he just lifts his head up with his eyes bulging out of his sockets, saying, I'm not going to take this anymore. Dude, that's wrestling. That's wrestling. It gets you so... It's not with your eyes, it's not with It's not with what you see. It's not this is awesome or anything like that. It's love and hate, good versus evil, good people versus bad people. They wanted me to win. They wanted him to lose. They felt distraught when he won. They felt distraught that I lost. It's gold. That is pro wrestling. And the reason it hit hard so much with the critics, it hit home with everyone so much, is because no one has done a good guy versus a bad guy in so long and done it well. So you tell me if that's not the core of what the business is about, because people just seem to forget now, and it's all about the great match, but it's all about suspension of disbelief, emotion, love, and hate, and that's it.
I was going to say, I know so many people were praising you and looking forward to the next English tour, and this must be a tour you're really looking forward to because Birmingham is back on the map.
Absolutely, and you know, I used to work opposite the NIA. Now it's called the Barclaycard Arena. I used to work across the about 500 yards across the road at the NIA and in Brinley Place, and I used to just stare out the window, looking at the building, dreaming of wrestling in it. Now, here's how I feel. I think that Hair versus Hair in London was The Empire Strikes Back, and the story of EC3 and Rockstar Spud hasn't had its conclusion yet. If we go to Birmingham and he's still the World Heavyweight Champion, why not put EC3 and Rockstar Spud in the ring again in front of the Birmingham fans, where everybody in Birmingham turns up to see a World Heavyweight Champion from Birmingham? We can't get Aston Villa promoted. We can't get to win the Premiership, sorry. Can't get Birmingham to win the Premiership. We can't get any of the local teams to win the Premiership. But we can get Rockstar Spud potentially to be the first not British, first Birmingham World Heavyweight Champion. That's in boxing. That's in everything. It would be amazing. Just imagine the atmosphere, hometown boy going against the world champion. And the history that we have. Dude, it's money. I'm throwing out the challenge now. If it happens, man, we're gonna. You think what we did at Hair versus Hair and in London was something you haven't seen nothing yet.
I know that Birmingham is a place that means so much to you. Just how proud are you to represent Birmingham? And obviously, I know when you did the last show that was in Birmingham, the reaction you had. It's safe to say fans are proud of you as well.
Wow, it was. I'm very proud of where I'm from. I never forget where I'm from because I always remember that I'm just this little kid that just loved. I was the little kid. I was the wrestling kid. I was the little kid that loved wrestling, and I'm in my neighbourhood with my local chippy, and my local pub, and my local school, and my local friends, and my local problems, and my local Asda. You know, it's like I don't forget it. I've been there the past three days, and I'm just like, look at this place. I don't miss. You know, I don't regret any part of growing up here. Like like I'm back, and I'm like, I don't miss America one bit because I remember where I came from, and I always will. And it's an awesome feeling, especially when I walked into Birmingham that show 2 years ago, and the crowd were quite indifferent to me. But by the end of the match, they were so entertained, and we had so much fun entertaining them. We just tore it up, and not by having your stereotypical pro wrestling match. We tore it up because the fans were just, from bell to bell, entertained. And you know, one of the most fun nights I've ever had in the business, and that's because of the audience. And you know, Birmingham don't get that much come to it. It's not the everybody treats us a bit like we're a bit daft, you know. So it's nice to see that we're going to go back to Birmingham, and I want to wrestle EC3 for the World Heavyweight title there, and I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. If I can win it in Birmingham, there's going to be a celebration and an atmosphere and a reaction in the audience like I can only compare. I honestly think it will be, you know, probably not on the same audience scale, but I reckon people will be jumping up and down just like when Davey Boy Smith won the Intercontinental title from Bret Hart. I think it'll be that intense.
And also there'll be dates in Manchester and London as well. Obviously you were there this year fighting there, but you must be looking forward to going there as well. Absolutely.
I mean, Manchester last year was like what was the? I was teaming with Ken Anderson against you know, EC3 and Brodus. Tyrus. Don't ever call him that. He'll go insane. He doesn't like calling his mama anymore or anything like that. You know how it is. But we were there the whole time, and the atmosphere was about. But they treated me like a superstar. It was awesome. It was just like you know, I'm in there with a former world heavyweight champion in Mr. Anderson. I'm there with the rising superstar EC3. I'm there with, you know, Tyrus, who's performed at WrestleMania, and it's the same as Ken Anderson. They've performed at WrestleMania in front of thousands, and they're established. They're established stars, and then they're just going nuts for me, and I'm like, this is England, man. This is England, and it's the you know, it's the dream. You're coming home to your home country, and they're just loving it. It's awesome.
And obviously, since the English tour, you've been an X Division champion, and you were one match away from being the World Heavyweight champion. Just what was it like being in the ring with Kurt Angle?
It was an experience. It was surreal because obviously, you know, who hasn't watched Kurt Angle growing up these days, you know, and obviously he's the best wrestler in the world, but knowing that you hung with Kurt Angle and performed on the level of Kurt Angle, and knowing that I was in the ankle lock longer than probably anyone else has been in the company before tapping out, you know, I didn't want to quit, because when am I ever going to get a chance to be the World Heavyweight Champion again? As far as I'm concerned, he could have snapped my ankle, but like I got that close, and that's what an underdog does, right? He gets that close, so you would just want it to happen that little bit more, and then he gets that close again, so you just want it and want it and want it, and then finally, who knows? Every dog has his day, like I said.
And in terms of getting that close, and in terms of the drive, the determination, it must be a case that you can see yourself getting to that belt at one stage.
I can. I really can, and I want to be. I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. I want to do all the media appearances. I want to meet all the kids. I want to see all the families. I want to say hello to every fan. I want to do every photo shoot. I want to do every magazine appearance. I want to do absolutely everything that comes with being the World Heavyweight Champion, because nobody wants it more than me, and EC3 knows that. And from being with me, nobody wants it more than me than him, and nobody wants it more than him than me. And that's why when we get in the ring together, it's magic, and everybody feels that, and everybody sees that. So, you know, that's what I'm working towards. He's already got there, so now that's what I've got to work towards. So that's where I'm going.
And what do you make of EC3 as the World Heavyweight Champion?
I think as the poster boy for the company, he's the perfect fit. And I realise I'm not the perfect fit, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But, you know, as the poster boy for the company, you could say he's near perfect. Am I that? No, I'm the complete opposite. I represent everybody that's ever got told no. I represent everybody that's, you know, been told they've never got a chance. He was entitled from day one and was pushed to the moon to get there. Did he work hard? Of course he did. We all work hard in this business. Did he have a little bit of help? Of course he did. His aunt and the company got behind him and did so. Now, physically, we're completely different. The people we are is completely different. The characters we portray on television were completely different. Who knows? If I'm ever the World Heavyweight Champion, do you think that's going to be what the company wants? No. And I really, really apologise that the guy that wants it more than absolutely anyone else in the world happens to be 5'4" and 150 pounds. But it's going to happen, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to work hard to make it happen. And if it means I get to beat him and finally end this story, I believe that with Hair versus Hair, we've done The Empire Strikes Back. If we go to Birmingham, maybe we should give them Return of the Jedi and take down the evil Empire. What do you say?
It sounds good to me. I was just going to ask as well about the amount of tapings which are taking place with Impact Wrestling at the moment. Just what is the difference in terms of being week in, week out to actually doing 3 or 4 tapings all in a couple of days?
I was never there on a period where it was week in, week out. I've heard it from everybody else. But, you know, like that it was great for your air miles. But, it was, you know, going back and forth all the time. But, you know, I've only ever been used to block tapings, and I love pro wrestling. So once the tapings stop, like, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, we did it, we finally got through, and I'm like, let's do it tomorrow, yeah, and they're like, no, God, no more. So, no, I love it, man. It's, you can only have so much wrestling, I understand that, but I'm one of those losers that wants more. I want more and more, so, it's a fun time, but, it's a lot of hard work, and our roster work harder than anyone else in the world. And everybody's beaten, everyone's battered, everyone's bruised, but everyone gets up the next day to do it all again because they love this business, they love this company, and they want it all to succeed. And without the drive that they have, it's not going to. And that's what's amazing about our roster. We have the best roster in the world and the most driven, passionate people within the company.
And talking about someone who's associated with Impact Wrestling, his name is Jarrett, and it appears that Global Force Wrestling and Impact Wrestling, there is some kind of merger. Just what are your thoughts on it? I
don't know anything. I have no thoughts on it because I don't actually know anything. I mean, Jeff Jarrett turned up on an episode of Impact, and that was the first we knew of it. He obviously won the King of the Mountain match for the new King of the Mountain Championship, and that's all I know, and that's all I've seen. Going forward, who knows? But it's a very interesting time to be watching Impact Wrestling, I will say.
And another person who has joined Impact Wrestling over the last couple of weeks and months is Billy Corgan. Just what are your thoughts on him and what he's contributing to the company?
Real good dude. Obviously offering an opinion outside of the wrestling bubble, which is great, and a man that knows entertainment. And I've had several chats with Mr. Corgan, and he's a pleasure to talk to, always approachable, and he's a pro wrestling fan, and that's what we all are. We're all fans of the business, and we just talk. Me and him could just talk each other's ear off about back in the day. But no, he's a wonderful addition to the team, and I look forward to working more with Billy because he's a real cool dude.
Now, you are back in the UK at the moment, and I know that you're doing a number of training seminars. I was just wondering how much you look forward to participating in them.
I love them. I love teaching, and I love helping people. Anything I can do to help people, I just like doing it. I think that was something that was instilled in me by my mother. It's just like, a good deed's worth more than any amount of payment, and it's nice to help the next British stars, and to help the ones that are currently on the scene as well, because for the promotions are doing such great work here, but it's also up to the wrestlers to they can be put in situations, but it's up to the wrestlers to draw the audience as well. They're part and parcel of this. The promoter enters into an agreement with the wrestler to exploit their talents in order to draw money. So it's up to the wrestlers to know what to do when the time comes to draw this money and how to do it. So not just go out there and have a good match. You know what I mean? Because if you have a good match all the time, eventually this good match doesn't stand out anymore. So you need to learn how to do good business, and that's what I'm trying to teach them. I'm not teaching them moves. I'm not teaching them cool fancy wrist lock reversals. I'm there to teach them what this industry is. And that's it, and that's what separates my seminars apart from them.
And obviously you've met some of these British wrestlers. Just how exciting is the future for British wrestling? Very exciting, and the guys, since I've been gone, have carried this scene. The promoters that have come on board promoting to carry this scene have been amazing, because British wrestling 10 years ago was, yes, promotions were running, but they weren't running like a business. Now everyone's running like a business, how it should be. So the wrestlers are making more money, the promoters are making more money. I believe within the next 10 years, I think British wrestling will have a television show. It just all depends on, obviously, if they all learn how to draw money and, draw in an audience on a weekly basis. We've got the characters, we just need the mindset, and hopefully that's what I can contribute with that. And obviously it's a question which I bet you're asked every interview regarding Impact Wrestling and a UK pay-per-view. Just, in your opinion, just how great would it be for the UK to get a pay-per-view with Impact Wrestling? It'd be amazing, and not like the one-night onlys. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about one of the special ones like Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, Lockdown maybe, I don't know. But it's, I know some things are in the pipeline, some things are in the works, but on a date, I can't actually tell you, but there's something in the works. We've already had our first live pay-per-view on Challenge, aired from the US, so
going forward, you know, just keep your eye on Impact Wrestling every week. Eventually, you're going to get some great news.
And so, after a fantastic 6 months, a really incredible 6 months, do you think you'll be able to do it all again? Maybe the quest will be to get the X Division title?
No, I'm going for the World Heavyweight title, mate. The X Division Championship's a goal, and I've reached that goal. Now it's time for the new goal. I want to be the World Heavyweight Champion. And as I said earlier, on the 31st of January, we're at the Barclaycard Arena. If I could face EC3 one more time for the World Heavyweight title, man, boyhood dream come true in front of his hometown. Who knows? And
just looking at the rest of the Impact Wrestling roster, who would you want to face? Who are the names? Maybe the likes of Bram, maybe a British versus British fight?
You never know. I'd love to step in the ring with Bram. Eric Young, I think he's phenomenal. I'd love to have the chance to step in the ring with Kurt Angle again, and I hope his surgery goes well with the tumour in his neck. You know, there's so many talented guys in our roster. Bobby Roode, I mean, who wouldn't want to step in the ring with Bobby Roode and James Storm? I mean, those guys are phenomenal. You know, the guys we have on our roster are just superior opponents to anywhere else in the world, and, you know, they're the people I want to be stepping in the ring